Indiscriminate detention despite legal visas, controversy over U.S. immigration authorities' human rights violations.
The inhumane treatment of South Korean workers who were detained for 7 days while working at a battery plant construction site in Georgia, USA, has been exposed, causing a major stir. It is being argued that despite entering the country on legal B-1 visas, their human rights were completely violated during the arrest and detention process. This incident has led to criticism of the indiscriminate law enforcement by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the passive handling of the situation by South Korean diplomatic authorities. The detention diary of one of the workers, Mr. A, who was imprisoned, vividly details the horrific conditions. According to the record, ICE agents suddenly appeared at the site around 10 a.m. on the 4th, frisked the workers, and immediately began the arrest procedures. The workers, who did not have time to interpret the English, were forced to fill out an alien arrest warrant form and were not read their Miranda rights. The agents were overbearing, and the workers had no choice but to comply, under the vague assumption that signing the documents would lead to their release. The arrested workers were loaded onto a transport vehicle with their wrists bound by cable ties and chains. The inside of the vehicle reeked of urine, and the air conditioning was not even on. In the initial days of their detention, they were crammed into a cramped temporary facility with 72 people. The mattresses on the bunk beds were covered in mold, and the water provided had a foul smell. According to Mr. A's account, it was difficult to even take care of basic needs, as the common bathrooms had only curtains to cover the lower body in a space where there was barely any room to stand. It was not until the third day of detention that ICE interviews began. The agents handed out voluntary departure forms and pressured the workers to sign them. Most of the detainees, feeling anxious about the word illegal on the documents, signed them anyway. When Mr. A protested, asking, "I entered with a legal B-1 visa, so why was I arrested?" An ICE agent gave the irresponsible reply, "I don't know either. The people above think it's illegal." During this process, some agents even mocked the workers, asking for their nationality and then mentioning North Korea and Rocket Man, a clear act of human rights abuse. On the fourth day of detention, officials from the South Korean Consulate General met with the detainees and emphasized, "You must sign whatever they tell you to. If you get into a dispute, you won't be able to get out of detention for at least 4 months to several years." The workers were furious at the diplomatic authorities' attitude, who they felt were prioritizing a quick return over defending their rights. One worker wrote in the diary, "I was angry that they seemed to have no grasp of why a B-1 visa was considered illegal, and it felt ridiculous and frustrating that their only focus was on getting us out no matter what." After spending 7 days in anxiety and distress, the workers were finally released and were able to return to their home country on a charter flight. This incident is expected to be recorded as a case of indiscriminate human rights violations endured by South Korean citizens who followed legal procedures abroad. There is a growing demand for the U.S. government to provide an explanation for ICE's enforcement, which appears to have been carried out without a clear understanding of the nature of the B-1 visa in current law, and to make efforts to prevent a recurrence. There are also increasing calls for the South Korean government to take more active and firm measures to protect its citizens.